good afternoon to each and everyone present. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all today. Today is the fourth day of the certificate course on Indian knowledge system, and we are happy to have amongst us our resource person, Dr. Kishor Dutta, who will be speaking on the hidden harmonics of sacred geometry, decoding Vedic sound. Dr. Kishor Dutta is working as a faculty member in the Department of Physics, Handique Girls College. His academic interests include theoretical physics, non-equilibrium complex systems, mathematical modeling, and interdisciplinary approaches to science education. He has published more than 30 research articles on topics as diverse as condensed matter, turbulence theory, pattern formations, engineering physics, and multidisciplinary science education. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite our resource person, Dr. Kishor Dutta, to speak on the topic, which is highly relevant to all of us. Thank you.
So namaskar and good afternoon, a very good afternoon to all present here and those who are on board. So I am not a good speaker. I am neither a good speaker nor an expert of IKS, but what I can give you is just a simple and small piece of work that I have done in the last 2-3 years. So I want to basically realize you one important aspect of IKS. I mean, one important dimension of IKS to this work. So let me start with the sacred geometry. What is sacred geometry? So they are basically, as you see here, they are basically some symbols with some mystical significance, or they are connected with spirituality. So they are basically combinations of some fundamental shapes like circles, triangles, squares, pentagons, and so on. So here's the definition of sacred geometry. We reserve sacred geometry particularly for designing our sacred spaces like temples, mosques, etc. So sacred geometry is the universal language of creation where fundamental shapes encodes deep mystical and cosmic principles. Just like so, for example, the circles symbolizes unity, infinity, and the cosmos, and they represent the wholeness and the cycle of life. So they are basically the shapes that we have found in our school days. Similarly, square symbolizes stability and material existence. Triangle symbolizes harmony, transformation, and essence linked to the slides. Is not moving. So these are some fundamental shapes. So the combination of all these shapes are considered as some symbolic representation of spirituality and all. So as you see here, the first diagram is the flower of life. It symbolizes unity and oneness. And similarly, there are some natural patterns. So all of them have some mystical significance. So we reserve, in our tradition, we reserve sacred geometry for designing our sacred spaces like temples and mosques, etc. For example, if you see here, this is the Tibetan mandala, where a hexagram is used. This hexagram is basically the combination of two triangles, one up triangle, another is down triangle. So the two interlocking equilateral triangles symbolize the balance of spiritual ascent and grounding in physical reality. So in Hinduism, it represents the union of masculine and feminine characters. In Islamic architecture, it reflects divine order, infinite patterns, and symmetry. As you see here in the second diagram, second symbol, it is available in that garden called Mayfair Garden. In there is a mazar there. There you find that symbol, and in the at the right of the center, the word Allah is written there. Similarly, third symbol at the center, our Lord Hanumana is there. So all carry some mystical significance. Now, that's why people says that India is a land of mystics. But what America is doing, let's see what America is doing. They just put the mystical symbols in $1 bill. That means it indicates that the most important sacred symbol or sacred space is nothing but the wallet, our wallet. But we use, so see the difference. So they have used it from the Freemasonry work. The pyramids, you will see here, there is a pyramid, unfinished pyramid. So as you see in the symbol, there is an unfinished pyramid. That's triangular symmetry aligns with ancient sacred geometric principles. And the unfinished structure reflects the Masonic belief that human beings are always building themselves towards perfection. And similarly, you have Eye of Province. There is an Eye of Province at the top of the pyramid, positions at the apex. And there are 13 steps in the pyramid. So all are symbolic. I want to say that all are symbolic. They are used, basically, we use it in designing our sacred space, whether it is in temple or mosque or in your home, designing some sacred space. Now, what I want to say is, look at Israel. What they are doing, they are placing it at the center of their flag. That means they are taking it as official sacred symbols. This is nothing but a Star of David. It is called Star of David. It is two interlocking triangles. One is up triangle, another is down triangle. They are interlocked together. So sacred symbols or sacred geometry you will find everywhere, almost everywhere, irrespective of the religion or belief systems. So if you want to know something more about sacred geometry, you can read this article. I have written this article, Art in Sacred Geometry. It is published in Springer, I think, Taylor and Francis. Okay, today's topic is that diagram. That is, as you see on the right side, that is the Sri Yantra, one of the mystical symbols, profound mystical symbols of Vedic mysticism, is the Sri Yantra. So in Sri Yantra, you will see. So you will find that symbol in Varanasi. So 5th century Varanasi, a tantric geometric fusion captured from Ganges copper, manifesting Shiva and Shakti. So symbolizes the union of the divine masculine and feminine character. So due to cultural exchange and all the processes happen, so it is now available in not only in India, it find in Nepal, in Tibet, in Indonesia, China, and Japan. Everywhere you will find that symbol, the Sri Yantra. So what is its mystical significance? Let's go through it quickly. So this is the larger view of the Sri Yantra. You will see there are 9 interlocked triangles inside. And people believe that if you keep this Sri Yantra in your home or any sacred place, that can activate your Kundalini energy, the energy associated with the root chakra. Root chakra is just sitting at the base of your spine. So, but there is no scientific proof that why Sri Yantra can generate some frequency or something that can activate your chakra, root chakra. So it is just a symbol. As you see here, it is just a symbol. There are 9 interlocked triangles, 4 are up triangles, and there are 5 down triangles, and there is a center. That center is traditionally called Bindu. And there are some circles, and within the circles, there are inner 8 petals, lotus petals, and there are and 16 lotus petals outside. So, yeah. So let's go through quickly the mystical significance of Sri Yantra. What the Tantric tradition said, or Hinduism believe. So Bindu is the pure consciousness. Bindu is the center of the Sri Yantra, the center point, center of the circle, concentric circles. It symbolizes pure consciousness. That means the union of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is the upward triangle, the downward triangle is Shakti. So 4 upward triangles is the symbolism of Shiva, transcendent awareness, and 5 down triangles represent Shakti. The 9 interlocked triangles, interplay of opposites, duality, and 16 lotus petals, the symbolizes lunar phases, 16 lunar phases, and 8 lotus petals are the siddhis according to Hinduism and Tantric traditions. Now you see, yeah. So this is about Tantra, Yantra, and Mantra. All are related with Tantra, Yantra, and Mantra. So if you go through Tantric tradition, you will see there are so many names associated with the parts, each and every parts of Sri Yantra. You will see that they are giving some name like Garima, Mahima, Laghima, all beautiful names. But what does it mean actually? What is the meaning? And my question was, why it is called Yantra? Yantra literally means a machine or some instrument. But as you see here, they are giving some beautiful names like Laghima, Garima, and so on. But there is no connection with a machine, what we understand as machine and an instrument. So that was my research topic. I explored it in my own way. I do not know much about how people are doing under the banner of IQAC, but I asked a simple question: why the name Yantra is given? Why Yantra is basically, it must be a machine, otherwise why they are calling it Yantra? So I explored in order to understand why it is called yantra, you have to explore the ancient literature, ancient scriptures. So there are so many ancient scriptures. And while I explored the ancient scriptures, Vedic scriptures, I did not find any answer why it is called an yantra. So what I did, basically, you'll see what we understand as a machine. A machine has, if you consider the simplest version of its, the definition, it has to do with effort or comfort. It must reduce human effort. Otherwise, there is no meaning of a machine. There is no use of a machine or instrument. Or it must provide you some comfort. Or if you look at the definition of that highly mechanical definition of, what is that? There are two definitions. One is the Ransu's definitions, the simplest definition. It must reduce the effort, human effort, but none of them fits there. If you look what we understand as machine, none of them fits there in the C yantra. Of course, there are some up triangles and down triangles. It consists of 9 interlocking triangles, but that doesn't mean that it is a machine. So that is the problem with IKS. People actually did not explore the thing in that way. In order to understand the main dimension, some hidden dimensions of IKS, you must explore in a certain way. Otherwise, you cannot find what is the intended meaning of C yantra. So those who are working on material science or chemistry, those who are chemists or material scientists, they can find some correlation. That is the first left diagram is called kagom lattice. Kagom. It's a Japanese word. Kago means woven, and ma means basket. That seems like an woven basket. They are layered triangular structure, layered triangular lattice. They have some emergent properties. So that layered triangular lattice, you can resemble with the inner 9 interlocking triangles of C yantra, but you will not find any correlation. Similarly, in chemistry, there are some molecular structures with triangular layers, but there will be no correlation. You will not find any correlation between the newly merged materials or the chemical structure of that people studied in chemistry. Okay, so in the last 2-3 years, I've explored it in my own way, and I found that yantra is a structured instrument or mechanism that regulates and directs energy to harmonize the mind, body, and environment for the holistic well-being of mankind. So, how I explored and how I established that it is not a simply a symbol, it is a machine that was designed not by Vedic science. It is one of the best and finest example of Vedic technology. So I will show you how I have explored it. So there are vast ancient scriptures. If you go through those ancient scriptures, you will not find any definition of yantra. There is no such well-defined definition of yantra. Why that Sri yantra? How it was made? So here is the just one minute. So it is basically connected with Nada Bindu cosmology or Nada Bindu Brahmanda Vijnanam. It is the ancient Vedic science, and it connects Nada. Nada means sound, Bindu means the sacred points, and cosmology is the study of the whole entire cosmos. So in the Nada Bindu Upanishad, it's a part of is it visible here? Yeah, it's a minor Upanishad of Rig Veda. So there you will see that there is a verse, Nada eva parang Brahma Binduratma samahita. It says Nada is the supreme Brahma and Bindu is the concentrated self. So this is about Nada Bindu Upanishad. And then, yeah, there is another ancient scripture, Sandagya Upanishad. It was composed around 800 and 600 before Christian era. It's a philosophical combination of the Samveda. So there is a verse 2.22.3. It says, Swaraha sapta bindunang murtihi nadasya prana. It means the 7 swaras, 7 musical tones arise from the bindus. Bindus means this, yeah. Okay, thank you. Jintu, water. Okay, so we are talking about Nada Bindu cosmology. So here you'll find in Sandagya Upanishad, you will see that there's a verse, Swara Sapta Bindunam Murti Narasya Prana. It means the 7 Swara musical notes arise from the Bindus. Bindus indicate the sacred points, and Nada is their life force. In verse 2.23.1, there is another verse that is called Binduha Utpanaha Nada Nadan Brahma Sanjayate. From the Bindu arises Nada. Nada is the sound, vibration, and through Nada, Brahman manifests. So, why I explored in that way, in that particular way, because you cannot find any evidence about something called machine, something called yantra. It may be the blueprint of some machine, but you have to prove it that it is a machine. It is some ancient Vedic machine. So what we see here, basically, there are some only intersecting points, intersections between the 9 interlocked triangles, 4 upward triangles and 5 downward triangles. So when you play with this geometry, particular geometry, you will see that there are the 2 biggest triangles are circumscribed by the inner circle, and there are smaller triangles, but they should maintain some geometric ratio. Otherwise, you cannot construct it perfectly. There is some what I can say, the geometric. You have to maintain some geometric ratio. Otherwise, you cannot draw it perfectly. Intersecting points. If you want to draw it in with pen and paper, you cannot draw it exactly. So for me, it took around 6 months
Hello?
to draw it exactly, so that
Hello?
I will get the exact
Hello?
diamond tipped precision of this geometry. So then I found some evidence.
Hello?
These are very interesting books.
ছাৰৰ চাউণ্ডটো মিউট হৈ গৈছে, কাইণ্ডলি আনমিউট কৰি দিব। স্পীকাৰৰ চাউণ্ডটো মিউট হৈ গৈছে।
Buddhayan Sulvasutram. In the Buddhayan Sulvasutram, where the Pythagorean theorem was found, Buddhayan Sulvasutram, it was composed around 800 to 500 BCE. So it is the Vedic manual on geometric rules for constructing higher altars, geometry, and mathematical principles. So here you see, yatra yatra vindavaha, tatra tatra swara. That means wherever there are intersections of all these 9 interlocked triangles, there are sound, swaras. It indicates that it's a blueprint of something. It is not just a symbol. Just I have shown you that there are so many symbols, so many sacred symbols you will find almost everywhere in our planet. But Sri Yantra is a special. It is something, it is the blueprint of the entire cosmos. I will show you. So, so this is one evidence I found in Buddhayan Sulvasutram. Yatra yatra vindavaha tatra tatra swara. Wherever there are intersecting points, there arise sounds. Then okay. So what I have done with this evidence, collecting all the evidences from ancient scriptures, what I have done, I sit with pen and paper, and then I use some advanced software that will exactly find the intersecting points, because I need diamond tip precision of intersecting points. Otherwise, you cannot draw it perfectly. There will be mismatch, there will be disturbance in the interlocking positions, intersections. So then I visualize it in 3 dimensions. It looks like a temple structure. In 3 dimensions, as you see here on the right side, I plot all the distances from Euclidean distances from the central point, and when I plot it, it looks like a 3-dimensional structure, just like a temple structure, a sacred space. So then I use some modern technique called network science, because you have to establish it that it is a yantra. Otherwise, nobody will accept it. So you have to use some advanced technique, advanced technology. So this is one of the advanced science called network science. Nowadays, network science are used everywhere, almost everywhere, in order to study our social structure, cultural structure, or anything related with our central nervous system. It's a network, big network. So I constructed this network, and it shows that the Sri Yantra is a map of cosmic creation. The network analysis mirrors energy channels. Traditionally, in Vedic tradition, they are called nadis. Nadis are nothing but some energy channels. There are 72,000 nadis in our body. All are connected with all 7 chakras. So edges approximate nadis linking energy centers. And there are hierarchy of layers. As you see in the blueprint, in the symbol of Sri Yantra, there are, it's just a blueprint of something that we do not know. So the hierarchy of layers between, so there are some certain metric, quantitative, what I can say, you can measure some quantity. One of them is betweenness centrality that highlights transitions between the yantras, concentric circles, triangles, and petals. So anyway, so now let's proceed further. So this is about Yogini Hidaya, a tantric text of the Sri Vidya tradition. It was composed around 10th to 12th century CE. So there is a verse here. Yatra yatra rekasandho tatra tatra choradayah. Nada brahmamayah saptaha trikono vartane titam. So it says whenever lines interact, there are lines only. In the blueprint, you will see some intersecting lines only. So whenever lines interact, there arises a musical note or sound. And sound is embodied as Nada Brahma, divine vibrational energy, residing in the triangular vortices. That's why they are in triangular shape. All 9 triangles are just some up and down triangles. So then in Silpa Shastra was composed around 5th century, 5th century. So there's a verse, it says, Yantrasya bindu sakti nadastasya prabhahaka. That means the bindu of the yantra is sakti and nada is its flow. That means sound vibration is the flow, nothing else. Similarly, in Hatha Yoga Padipika, you will find a verse, Mandra dhanihi sthirayati taro brahmni bilayate antarmukha mandra gatihi bahirmukha tu tarata. So it describes that deep sound inward, the high results outward. So these are the evidences I have collected. Because I have to establish, my aim was, I asked a simple question, why it is called a machine? That is a simple question. And then I want to establish that how it looks like, why it is called a machine. So these are the evidences. And then strictly following all these evidences, what they are talking about, I did some computation. I used some modern technology in order to establish that it is actually a ancient machine. So what I did, you see here, at every intersection of lines, the rekha sandho means intersections of lines, a frequency corresponds to a musical note or swara that I have assigned. The geometry is now mathematically translated into frequency space. The blueprint of the Sri Yantra, now I have translated it into a frequency space so that I can give them some vibration. I can simulate it using computer. I can show that, yes, there is some vibration in the system. So this is the corresponding plot. That plot shows you how I have distributed the frequencies. In all, there are how many? 90 intersecting points. In the interlocking triangles and the intersection of the lotus petals, there are all total 90 intersecting. I have mentioned somewhere, I think. Here. There are 90 intersecting points, and they are diamond-tipped precision. I have calculated them with diamond tip. Otherwise, you will not get the result, the intended result. So you will see I have used a simple idea to distribute the frequency among the intersecting points, all 90 intersecting points, and then I did something here, following strictly the evidences I have found in Spanda Kartika. In Spanda Kartika, there is a verse. It says, so Spanda Kartika is a foundational text of the Kashmir Shaivism tradition. It says, Sabhava eva spandaha sadhu me, what is that? Sadhu me nimesatmakaha tanmayo jayate yogi tadditaha paramarthabit. So it says that the very nature of existence itself is the spanda, the vibration. Spanda is a Sanskrit word that means vibration. So what I have to do here, so following this verse, I have to use that spanda, vibration, in the essential nature of reality with rising and falling motion. That is called unmesa, nimesa. Our madam will know better than me. I'm not good at Sanskrit pronunciation. So anyway, so I have just played with some mathematics because it is geometry. Ultimately, it's a geometry, it's a blueprint. So I have to play with some mathematics. Then, so what is the idea? Idea is at each and every intersecting points, I have used the frequencies, and so that it resembles like a vibrating system. It resembles like a vibrating system. Then I generate the sound. It's called computational sonification. There are techniques that map its vibrational modes to audible frequencies. So now it's the time to today you will realize that the Sri Yantra is not a simple machine. It was designed for holistic well-being of mankind. Now today you are going to witness a sound that has no connection with human vocal tract, no human intonation, nothing. No artifacts, no battery, no loudspeaker, nothing. It is simply generated from the vibration of the Sri Yantra. So let me play this sound here, and in honor of the dedication and wisdom that they have invested for the well-being of mankind. So may I request you to maintain some silence so that you can feel the vibration of that ancient machine. So let me play it. So I'll share the sound file in the Google link. So that was the sound generated purely from the geometry itself. There is no vocal tract, no vocal intonation, no human intervention. It is simply the vibration of the Sri Yantra. So in order to establish that, I had done some calculations, and they are basically some spectral features of sound. They are well-known technique. So you have to quantify the quality of the sound. So here, as you see here in the last that graph, there are two sounds. One is the Om something sound, and another is my geometry generated sound. So you will see there is hardly any difference between the Om something and that geometry generated C yantra sound. It is just the replica of the sound Om, as you have heard. So if I have done it in a different way. So if I distort the intersecting points, if I do not calculate the intersecting points perfectly, then the sound is get distorted. It is not the, incoherence. That is also another sound. I will share all the sound files. So similarly, I sonify the flower of life. This is also a well-known sacred symbols. One of the well-known sacred symbols is flower of life. It's basically the intersecting circles with same diameter. So there are layers of intersecting circles. So using the same idea of geometric computation, I can generate the sound from the flower of life. And the flower of life sound I can play here. Shall I play or continue? No, okay. So we'll share the MP3. Okay, I will play at the last towards the end of the slide. So now I will conclude within 2 minutes. So what we have found is a new dimension of IKS through this simple and small piece of work. You will see that they are not simply the symbol. They are basically an embedded geometry, a structure, a vibration of the cosmic nada. So now nested triangular structure of the C yantra acts as a resonant chambers, channeling harmonic frequencies. The C yantra is modeled as a harmonic field where intersections generate the vibratory notes. Just as the scriptures states that sound energies at every intersection, spectral analysis confirms that C yantra notes resonate with distinct frequencies, as you have listened last. So algorithmic sonification transforms geometric intersection into audible frequencies. So all these establish that C yantra is not just a visual structure, but an encoded vibrational system. So it is, for the first time, the perfect ratios of the C yantra generates audible cosmic frequencies. No vocal tract, no human intervention, no distortions, no artifacts. Only pure algorithmic precision, where the diamond point accuracy of geometry awakens mathematics frozen in time into sound. So there are 43 intersecting triangles, 24 petal intersections, and 66 triangle intersection points, all total 90 intersection points. You have to compute them exactly, precisely. Each intersection of a source of resonance, where the meeting of geometric pathways gives rise to harmonic vibrations. So it's not an invention, but remembrance. The ancients, sonic yantra, silent for ages, now resonance once more, experience the seamless fusion of timeless wisdom and modern insight, where the cosmic nada is brought to life through precision and resonance. So thank you for listening, and may the sound vibrate within. Thank you very much. Offline to have, online to have portion to. Those who are on board, if you have any question, you can ask me.
When you produce the sound, when the triangles intersect, it produces sound, right? So we saw one movie in India. So some similar things, the picture of movie was on this thing. So can you, if there are some world, other world exists in the universe, can you that this sound can connect to the other world?
Since see the Sri Yantra was designed, as I have shown here, as I have mentioned here, it is for holistic well-being of mankind. So that if you listen the cosmic nada, it's a cosmic vibration, and this is the blueprint. So if you vibrate the machine, if you just vibrate the bindu, the center, it will automatically generate that like sound. So there may be some movement. I was to establish that it is basically a machine that produces sound. It is nothing else. It is not just a symbol, just like Tower of Life or Seeds of Life or the Star of David. So, so idea was during the Vedic age. The idea was, I think, in designing our temples, so that if you are inside the temple behaves like a resonator. Inside the temple, the chamber behaves like a resonator. So when you produce some sound inside, that sound vibrates. It's just like the Sri Yantra. Sri Yantra, it's a two-dimensional, but if you visualize it as a three-dimensional, as I have shown here, it's like a temple. So inside the temple, when you produce when you chant mantras or something, so that vibrates, reverberates everywhere, and that reverberation impacts on your body, on your chakras. There are 7 chakras. All chakras have certain frequencies, so you can activate your chakras. That was the idea, I think. Satigul? Any question?
Is a very informative session. Because I like to share our material. Thank you, sir. It was an informative session.
I'm online to search for you. Online to have to also. No, play for you. Sorry, so by the way, Sabu, sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you for such an enlightening session on the hidden harmonics of sacred geometry, decoding Vedic sound. So Dr. Kishor Dutta has beautifully unraveled the mystical connection between sacred geometry and Vedic sound, the articulation of how the universe resonates with ancient vibrational patterns and sacred symmetries hidden in sound waves, not only intellectually stimulating, but spiritually uplifting as well. So I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speaker and all the audience for today's session. And let us continue exploring the timeless wisdom encoded in our ancient traditions. Thank you. And all the participants, the attendance link has been given in the chat box. Kindly submit the attendance, all the attendance for today's session. Thank you, all of you.